First of all, I would like to thank to the grace of heaven, the virtue of our holy teachers, and the mercy of 老前人 and 前人, and Tao transmitting masters, and all of you to give me this opportunity to share the great learning tool with you. As shown on the screen, we will cover the last of the 3 guiding principles, then move on to the next topic, the way of achieving from the great learning's point of view. Before we begin today's topic, I would like to briefly recap our previous lesson. Let's start from the meaning and the purpose of the great learning, 大学. What is the great learning? Simply put, it means learning great. So what does it mean to learning what is great? It can be understood in 3 levels. The first level is to learn from great people and things. This includes learning from the great people such as Confucius, Emperor Yao, Emperor Shun, and King Wen of Zhou. We can also learn from great things like heaven, earth, and water. The virtues of heaven and earth are praised in the Book of Changes and other Confucian texts, and Lao Tzu praises the virtues of water in the Dao De Jing. This is the first level. We can learn from great people and things. The second level is to learn how to become a great person. The great learning provides methods for cultivating oneself to become a great person. The final level is to become a truly great person, such as Confucius or Sakyamuni Buddha. The way to achieve this is called the way of great learning. The way of great learning consists of 3 guiding principles. The first one, manifesting innate virtue, and the second one, renewing people. We discussed the first 2 principles in previous sessions. Today, we will focus on the third principle, attaining supreme good, 止于至善. In addition to these 3 guiding principles, the great learning outlines 8 steps of learning, which we will cover after completing the principles. These 8 steps are 格物致知诚意正心修身齐家治国平天下. Let's briefly review the first principle, manifesting innate virtue, 明明德. Bright virtue, 明德, refers to the bright and beautiful qualities inherent within us, originating from our true nature. Our true nature is the Tao within each of us, so everyone has this innate virtue. However, why are most people unable to recognize this innate virtue? Most people fail to recognize their innate virtues due to the entanglement of a bad karma and accumulated habits from the past lives. Material desires can blind us and nurture even more bad habits. Without the teachings of the sense, it is difficult for people to discover and restore their true nature. This is why we must learn the teachings of ancient saints, particularly in the temple, to understand our innate virtues and true nature. If we don't learn in the temple, we may never encounter teachings about the true nature elsewhere. Once we manifest our innate virtue, we should help others do the same. This process is called 清明. Manifesting innate virtue can be divided into 2 stages. The first one is learning and understanding. First, we must learn and understand the innate virtues within us. Our innate virtues are manifestations of our true nature. The true nature is also known as Buddha nature, true self, or conscience. The second one is manifesting our virtues. Once we understand them, we must manifest these virtues in our daily life, not just in the temple. Our true nature should guide our actions everywhere, in the workplace, at home, and in all interactions. Some may think cultivation is only needed in the temple, but this is wrong. Manifesting virtue is a lifelong goal, representing the direction we strive for in life. Our ultimate goal is to restore our true nature and make it our genuine master, guiding all our actions. When we manifest our innate virtue to the extreme, our true nature is fully restored and we connect to heaven. This is known as 尽性, manifesting true nature to the extreme. Let's now review the second guiding principle, 心明, renewing people. Zhu interpreted 清明 as 心明, meaning to renew people. This involves helping others eliminate negative thoughts and improve their moral character through education. When we fulfill both manifesting innate virtue and renewing people, we achieve the third guiding principle. In the Book of Holy Interpretation of the Great Learning, 清明 is interpreted as 亲亲, cherishing one's family, plus 心明, renewing people. Cherishing one's family means showing love and care first to those closest to us, our parents, family members, and close friends. Confucianism teaches that love should vary based on the closeness of the relationship, unlike Moism, which advocates equal love for everyone. Confucius emphasized prioritizing our family and loved one. The concept of 亲亲 extends from parents to family members, friends, and others with a greater focus on those who support us in life. Filial piety starts with our parents and extends to others in our family and society. To renew people means through moral education, helping them eliminate negative thoughts and guide them toward goodness, ultimately leading to a harmonious society. This is the ideal outcome of 清明 in the Great Learning. Now let's discuss the third guiding principle, 止于至善, attaining supreme good. We will first look at the English translation of these words, one by one. 止 originally means stop, which can be translated as stop, reach, rest, halt, or cease. 于 here, 至 means supreme, ultimate, highest, or perfect. 善 represents good, kindness. Putting the last two characters together, 至善 can be phrased as supreme good, highest good, or highest level of goodness. The character 止 originally means to stop, but in this context, it means to reach, attain, achieve, accomplish, keep, or remain. However, in the context of 止于至善, the meaning of 止is closer to completion, reaching, or attaining. In English, it can be expressed with words like attain, reach, achieve, or accomplish. Moreover, 止 in 止于至善 does not imply that once we have reached or attained supreme good, we can stop and relax. Even after we reach supreme good, we must continue to strive and maintain this state. The phrase indicates that we must persist in cultivating and sustaining the state of the supreme goodness. Therefore, 止 also carries the meanings of keep and remain, indicating that even after achieving success, we must continue to persist in maintaining the state of supreme good. Attaining supreme good is the goal, and it requires continual cultivation. Therefore, 止 in 止于至善 can be understood as attain, but in a deeper sense, we should interpret it as to attain and keep in supreme good. This is the complete meaning of the character 止. I remember the first time I studied the Great Learning was in high school. My Mandarin teacher, when teaching this text, emphasized this point. I still remember, and that was nearly 40 years ago. So, when we encounter 止 here, even for native Chinese speaker, we might mistakenly understand it as meaning stop. But in this case, it means we reach or accomplish, and that's not enough. Even after we attain, accomplish, or achieve, we must continue to keep and maintain in the supreme good. That is the true meaning of a 智. Now let's explore the deeper meaning of 智 here. Before attain the supreme good, we do not stop. Instead, we continue to diligently cultivate ourselves. Even after reaching the state of supreme good, we must strive to maintain it. It does not mean that once we have attained supreme good, we can relax and allow ourselves to regress. Therefore, 止于至善 can be understood as attain, but in a deeper sense, we should interpret it as attain and keep the supreme good. This is the complete meaning of the phrase. Here, I would like to elaborate a bit more on the concept of supreme good, especially in the meaning of keep. Let's use Buddhism as an example. We say that we cultivate Tao, and in the end, we wish to attain Buddhahood. Attaining Buddhahood means that one's cultivation, mindset, or virtues have reached a certain level, allowing them to achieve Buddhahood or the level of Bodhisattva. So, even when we talk about striving to keep and maintain the state, once you truly reach that level, you no longer need to exert effort to maintain it, because naturally you will remain in that state. For example, many of you are vegetarian. I, for instance, have been a vegetarian for about 30 years. When I decided to become a vegetarian, it was from the bottom of my heart. I didn't want to eat meat anymore. I don't have to force myself to be vegetarian or keep reminding myself I cannot eat meat. When I see meat in front of me, I don't need to say, stop, don't think about it. I don't need to do that because my mindset has reached a level of not tempting by the meat. Similarly, once you attain the supreme good, you will naturally remain in that state without effort. Even if I emphasize attain and keep in supreme good, we need to understand that once you reach supreme good, you naturally keep in that state. If you truly attain supreme good, you will naturally sustain or maintain that level without effort. If you cannot do this, then you cannot claim to have attained supreme good. Now, how do we attain supreme good? This is the third guiding principle, the main purpose of this book, The Great Learning. It is to teach people how to attain supreme good and become great people. The first principle, manifesting innate virtue, is about cultivating our inner virtue. The goal here is to rediscover and restore our true nature. The second principle, renewing people, refers to external cultivation or accumulating merits in our Tao society. This goal is to help others restore their true nature. These two principles are complementary. To attain supreme good, both are essential. We cannot rely solely on manifesting our innate virtue to attain supreme good, nor can we depend only on renewing others to achieve it. We need both to attain supreme good. This fact is very important and we need to remember. For example, initially, we may have only cultivated 1% ourselves, but as we progress in our cultivation, we begin to help others. Perhaps in the beginning, we help only 1 or 2 people, but as time passes, our cultivation deepens and our ability to help others increases. We may eventually become a good lecturer or learn how to invite others to receive Tao. So our ability to help others grows. We might gradually expand from helping 1 or 2 people to helping tens, hundreds, or more. This process resembles a positive feedback loop. By improving ourselves first and then helping others, we enhance our own cultivation, which allow us to help more people. This forms a positive cycle. In the Tao Temple, our holy teacher emphasized that both internal and external cultivation are important. External cultivation supports your internal cultivation, and your internal cultivation supports your external cultivation. To attain supreme good, both are essential. In the end, we cultivate perfectly, restore our true nature, and make it our genuine host, while also helping many others restore their true nature. Only then do we attain supreme good. So the first and second principles are essential, and the third one is the goal. If you only practice the first principle, manifesting innate virtue, it is not enough. You won't attain supreme good. If you only practice the second principle, renewing people, and you neglect cultivating your own virtue, you won't attain it either. Many people in the Tao Temple are eager to do work in the temple. There are many opportunities because our Tao society is so large, with many temples, Tao members, seminars, and classes. But don't forget to cultivate your own virtue and always focus on your true nature. Let your true nature be your genuine host. Here is a summary of attaining supreme good. In the Analects, there is a saying, when seeing a person of virtue, strive to reach their level. When seeing a person lacking in virtue, reflect inwardly to avoid making the same mistakes. This means that when we encounter virtuous people, we should learn from them and strive to catch up. Conversely, when we see those who are lacking in virtue, we should introspect and examine whether we are making similar mistakes. If we can truly practice this, we will be close to attain supreme good. In summary, attaining supreme good tells us to continuously strive for self-improvement and endeavor to reach the realm of supreme good. This is the goal of our entire life and the direction of our lifelong cultivation. We should persist in working towards this goal, hoping to attain the realms of the highest good in the end of our lives. Let's now summarize the three guiding principles of the Great Learning. On the top, this is Zhu Xi's version of the Great Learning, the blue one. The way of great learning lies in manifesting innate virtue, renewing people, and attaining supreme good. This is Zhu Xi's version, and these three guidelines aim to guide people to attain supreme good. Looking deeper, this is from the holy interpretation of the Great Learning, the green one. The way of great learning lies in manifesting innate virtue, cherishing family, and renewing people, and attaining and keeping in supreme good. Two additional terms are added, cherishing family and keeping in. Moreover, in attaining and keeping in supreme good, we are not only strive to attain supreme good, but also maintain in the state of supreme good after we have reached it. This is the essence of the three guiding principles. Next, I will briefly review the first three sentences of the opening passage of the Doctrine of the Mean for everyone here. The first sentence is, what heaven confers is called nature. This means that our human nature is bestowed by heaven and is innate. The second sentence is, in accordance with the nature is called Tao. This means that to act in accordance with our own true nature is to align with Tao. The third sentence is, cultivating Tao is called education. This means that the teaching of sense lies in first making people understand what the Tao is, and then guiding them onto the path of cultivating Tao. Thus, the opening passage of the Doctrine of the Mean first introduces nature and Tao. It targets to help people learn Tao. understand what true nature and the Tao are, and then cultivate it. The ultimate goal is for people to rediscover and restore their true nature, which is the meaning of the first sentence in the doctrine of the mean. What heaven confers is called nature. Next, let's make a comparison among the three guiding principles of the Great Learning: the doctrine of the mean, Buddhism, and the teachings of our Tao society. The bright virtue mentioned at the beginning of the Great Learning corresponds to the true nature in the doctrine of the mean, as the source of bright virtue is our true nature. In Buddhism, this true nature is referred to as Buddha nature, both referring to the same thing. Now we know bright virtue. Let's move to manifest bright virtue, which means to reveal our inner bright virtue. This corresponds to the second sentence in the doctrine of the mean. In accordance with the nature is called Tao. When we reveal our true nature, it is the manifestation of Tao. Achieving this is called self-enlightenment in Buddhism, which means reaching enlightenment. Therefore, bright virtue and manifest bright virtue refers to true nature and self-enlightenment, which is called inner cultivation or cultivating inner virtue in our temple. So, how to cultivate inner virtue? Some examples are listed below. First, we must learn the teachings of the saints and Buddhas and work hard to correct our shortcomings and eliminate our bad temper so that our words and actions align with the Tao, ultimately enabling us to restore our true nature. This is manifesting bright virtue, which is equivalent to the second sentence of the doctrine of the mean. In accordance with the nature is called Tao, and it also corresponds to self-enlightenment in Buddhism. Next, let's check renewing people. In addition to renew people, we can include cherish family. This part corresponds to the phrase cultivating Tao is called education in the doctrine of the mean. Once we are enlightened, we should also help others reach enlightenment, guiding more people to learn and cultivate Tao. We should not only cultivating ourselves, but also help others cultivate themselves. Only then can we ultimately attain supreme good. This corresponds to the final sentence in the doctrine of the mean. The manifestation of heaven is voiceless and smellless. This is ultimate. In Buddhism, this state is known as perfect enlightenment. The renewing people in the Great Learning. Cultivating Tao is called education in the doctrine of the mean, and enlightening others in Buddhism are collectively referred to as external cultivation or accumulating merits in our temple. External cultivation includes financial contribution, dharma contribution, and voluntary contribution. Thus, when we both cultivate our inner virtue and accumulate merits well, we will attain supreme good, which corresponds to the Buddhist perfect enlightenment, attaining Buddhahood or sainthood. The three guiding principles have corresponding concepts in both the doctrine of the mean and Buddhism. In brief, it is about cultivating oneself internally and enlightening others externally. When we achieve this to the utmost, we can attain supreme good. I would like to compare the three guiding principles of the Great Learning with the first three sentences of the doctrine of the mean. The three guiding principles of the Great Learning represent a bottom-up approach to cultivation, mainly targeting self-cultivation. It begins with manifesting innate virtue, where one first cultivates their own virtue, then focus to renewing people, influencing and guiding others toward Tao, and ultimately attain supreme good. This describes a process of a person starting with cultivating inner virtue, extending to external moral actions, and eventually returning to Tao. On the other hand, the first three lines of the Doctrine of the Ming emphasize the teachings of saints and sages, adopting a top-down approach. Since saints have already understood their true nature and are enlightened to Tao, they first teach people what Tao is and what their true nature is. They manifest this true nature, which is what we call virtue. Sense takes Tao as the foundation and virtue as the starting point to guide all beings in cultivating Tao, enabling everyone to ultimately become saints and sages themselves. The teachings of the Doctrine of the Ming stress that the guidance of saints is based on Tao. Saints understand about Tao and their true nature and constantly manifest their true nature. They promote virtues, which is the manifestation of true nature, and the method of cultivating Tao to all beings, helping them return to Tao, or we say attain sainthood through the cultivation of Tao. Therefore, we can see that the Great Learning and Doctrine of the Ming share the same principles, but emphasize different directions. One focuses on personal cultivation from the bottom up, while the other emphasizes the top-down education of saints. One emphasizes the foundation of self-cultivation, while the other highlights the roots of saints' education. Therefore, we can say that the Great Learning emphasizes virtue, while the Doctrine of the Ming discusses Tao. This slide illustrates the key points we just mentioned. The three guiding principles proposed in the Great Learning takes a bottom-up approach for cultivation, starting from manifesting innate virtue, renewing people, and ultimately attain the supreme good. It mainly focuses on self-cultivation. On the other hand, the first three sentences of the Doctrine of the Ming adopt a top-down approach for education. It begins with Tao, guiding people to understand what Tao is and what their true nature is, so they can act in accordance with their true nature and ultimately attain supreme good. The education in the Doctrine of the Ming is based on Tao to spread virtue, which is the manifestation of Tao, and return to Tao through cultivating virtue. This is how Confucius and saints educate people. Next, we will move on to a new topic. The following passage from the Great Learning is also famous. Only after knowing the goal can one's mind be settled. Only after being settled can one be tranquil. Only after being tranquil can one be content. Only after being content can one be deliberate. Only after being deliberate can one achieve the goal. These sentences can be seen as the steps and methods taught in the Great Learning for achieving one's goal. Let's start with the concept of knowing the goal. This goal is related to the previously mentioned attain supreme good. Attaining supreme good is the ultimate life goal outlined in the three guiding principles. Therefore, knowing the goal here means having a clear understanding of what our goal is. Having a clear goal gives direction to our life. This means we understand what we are striving for, how to achieve that goal, and what should be avoided. More importantly, we have a clear vision of the final outcome and destination. In the Great Learning, knowing the goal refers to the goal of attain supreme good. We have already discussed how to attain supreme good. But how can we achieve it in our temple? First, we need to learn and understand the teachings of the saints and sages, knowing what should and what should not be done, and diligently cultivate Tao. Additionally, we can actively help others by inviting those we know to receive Tao and then cultivate Tao together. We can also become temple hosts or even lecturers, guiding more people to learn and cultivate Tao. We should also actively participate in various events in the temple to learn, cultivate, preach, propagate, and manifest Tao. As long as we spend our lives actively engaging in these activities in the temple and conduct ourselves carefully without making mistakes, we will be able to attain sainthood or Buddhahood in the future. And this is exactly attain supreme good mentioned in the Great Learning. Next, let's talk about settled mind. Why do we say that only after knowing the goal can one be settled? First, when we have a clear goal, we know what we are striving for, and we also understand how to achieve it. This prevents our mind from being lost or aimless. In this state, our thoughts are not scattered or chaotic. A clear goal brings settlement to the mind, which is what settledness means. When the mind is settled, it is not distracted. With a goal in mind, we can focus and concentrate, preventing our attention from wandering. We also become less susceptible to external temptations and disturbances. When we can firmly move towards our goal, our mind will be settled. To summarize, when we have a clear goal, our mind can stay focused and undisturbed, enabling us to persist on our path and move forward. This is settled mind. Next, let's discuss tranquility. Only after being settled can one be tranquil. Here, tranquility refers to inner peace. When our mind is settled and is not distracted, we will not be easily disturbed and tempted by the external environment, and our minds will naturally be tranquil. When our mind settles down, it won't be easily influenced by the external environment. With a firm goal in mind, we will be tranquil and we won't act rashly when doing things. At this point, tranquility brings wisdom. If we can find inner peace, our thinking becomes clear and we can make better decisions. On the contrary, if we are agitated and cannot calm our mind, the decisions we make in such a state are often unwise. Therefore, only after being settled can one be tranquil. Means that we must first settle our mind in order to calm our mind. Being settled refers to a mind that is not scattered and is focused, unwavering, and has clear goals. Tranquility refers to the inner peace, undisturbed by external things. Now let's talk about content. The phrase, only after being tranquil can one be content, refers to a state of inner peace, comfortable and satisfied, which can also be understood as be content in all circumstances. When our mind is tranquil, we naturally feel safe and at ease, free from fear. We also feel comfortable, satisfied, and happy. Such a state is what we call content. Think about it. If we have done something wrong, won't our minds feel uneasy? We might be anxious all day long, fearing that our deeds will be exposed. Instead, if we behave uprightly, we will feel at peace, and this is content. Additionally, there is an idiom, being content wherever you are, which means to maintain inner peace regardless of where we are or what situations we face. It reflects a state of mind that remains undisturbed by external circumstances. free from worry. This is the essence of content. Next, let's talk about deliberation. The phrase only after being content can one be deliberate refers to thoughtful consideration in handling of affairs and acting with wisdom. When our minds are calm and content, we can see things clearly and thoroughly, free from distracting thoughts, allowing us to think more comprehensively. Our judgments become more accurate and we are less likely to make mistakes. This is deliberation. Additionally, when we are content, we gain clear insights and understanding of the people and situations around us, enabling us to make thoughtful considerations and judgments. Thus, only after being content can one be deliberate, means that when we are at ease and content, we can think deeply and make sound decisions. Next, let's talk about achievement. The phrase, only after being deliberate can one achieve the goal, refers to our ability to achieving our goals in the end and enjoy the fruits of our efforts. This is what achievements mean. When our minds are calm and peaceful, and we are able to think deeply and wisely, it becomes easier for us to understand our situation and make wise judgments under the current situation. By choosing the right action, we will achieve our goal. Thus, achievements represent the successful realization of our aspirations. In the Great Learning, this achievement actually means attain supreme good. If we wish to achieve good results in our cultivation and attain the highest level of goodness, we must focus on our minds. When our minds are settled, tranquil, and content, we can think clearly and make good decisions and finally succeed in everything we endeavor to achieve. Let me summarize the process of knowing the goal, settling mind, tranquility, contentment, deliberation, and achievements. First, only after knowing the goal can one's mind be settled. Means that when our objectives are clear, our minds won't be chaotic and can be settled. Only after being settled can one be tranquil. Means that when our minds are settled, we can find our inner peace. Only after being tranquil can one be content. Means that when our minds are tranquil, we can feel at ease and happy. Only after being content can one be deliberate. Means that when we are content, our thoughts will become clear. Only after being deliberate can one achieve the goal. Means that with clear thoughts, we are more likely to succeed in our actions. Here is a short story, advices from a master. One day, 4 colleagues went to visit a master to seek advice on the problems they were facing. The first was a man who had been in industry for 5 or 6 years. Since joining, he had constantly changed companies because he was never sure about their prospects. Over the years, he experienced many ups and downs. And recently, with his wife expecting a child, he found himself in a constant state of panic. The master said, "Settle your mind. There is a proverb, a rolling stone gathers no moss. A person who does not settle in one place will not accumulate wealth, status, responsibilities, or commitments." The second was a woman who had been in the industry for over 10 years with a strong performance record. She shared with the master her concern about work, her physical health, and the conflicts between her parents and children in her life. The master advised her to calm your mind and not to think too much. Just concentrate on doing things that makes you happy and take good care of your body. Calm your mind. Don't overthink. focus on activities that bring you joy and take good care of your body. The third man said, I have worked very hard and stayed focused on my job, but why has my performance over the past 2 years not been as good as before? The master replied, your situation is different from that of the previous two. At this stage, see every challenge as an opportunity to build your skills for the future. As long as you carefully think things through before making decisions and then take action, you will be fine. Personally, I like the sentence, see every challenge as an opportunity. The last one is a girl who hasn't been in the industry for long. The master said she is the happiest of the four because she had little desires, no ambitions, and was content with everything. As long as she had enough to eat, she was satisfied. Currently, her biggest wish is simply to marry a good gentleman. In the end, the master joked that it was remarkable how the four of you could come together and work as a team. What can we learn from the story? The key point is to maintain a calm and peaceful mind under all circumstances. People usually make poor decisions when their mind is filled with improper thoughts or delusions. Their obsessions is too deep. They are upset and even lose their temper. They have no clear goal. All of this usually cause people make poor decisions. So keep your mind calm and peaceful is very important. And the wisdom of your true nature will emerge. Let's think about the following questions. First, if you achieve something, but you are not happy at all, is it truly an achievement? Second, can people's mind be easily disturbed when they are in rush? Lastly, when dealing with people or situations, do most people focus on the things or on their mind? In fact, being at peace and feeling joy are essential measures of achievement as well. Even if we don't accomplish things perfectly, as long as we can still find joy in them, that is also a form of achievement. When facing various challenges, we have a valuable opportunity to cultivate our minds. While solving problems, we should focus more on managing our mindset rather than simply being preoccupied with immediate issues. Maintaining inner tranquility enables us to respond more effectively to these challenges. Don't let our hectic schedule disturb our minds and take away our tranquility. No matter how busy we are, we should maintain a calm and peaceful mindset, as our work is also a form of self-cultivation. In the end, let me wrap up today's lesson. Today, we have explained the last of the three principles, attain supreme good, which is also the goal we should strive for throughout our life. In addition, we also explain in details, know the goal, settle mind, be tranquil, be content, be deliberate, achieve the goal, and gave some examples to illustrate how to apply this concept to our daily life. That's it for today's sharing. If there are any mistakes, I apologize to God and Buddha, and your suggestions and comments are very welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.